Welcome to Galveston Unscripted.
Galveston, Texas, and German immigration. Before Texas ports opened for immigration, German people have played a prominent role in Texas history. From settlement to the Texas Revolution, the battles of the Alamo, Goliad, and San Jacinto all had German contribution. Shortly after Texas won its independence from Mexico, German people seeking prosperity and freedom began to pour into the seemingly open land that was Texas and the United States. To summarize German immigration through Galveston is no easy task. Immigration into the Republic of Texas opened in the 1840s through ports like Galveston and Indianola. The majority of German immigrants used Galveston as an entry point into the United States. Europeans sought land and prosperity in the expansive, fertile territory of Texas. German immigrants into Texas typically arrived through Galveston or Indianola after a 3-month voyage from Germany. Galveston was second only to Ellis Island by the number of immigrants passing through the port. These ports were not only a gateway into Texas, but a logistical gateway to German settlements such as New Braunfels and Fredericksburg, as well as the American Midwest. The port of Galveston was 700 miles closer to the German communities in Kansas and Nebraska than any Atlantic port. The German immigrants who settled in Texas were diverse in class, religion, education, profession, and character. The new arrivals included farmers and intellectuals, Protestants, Catholics, Jews, and atheists, from Prussians, Saxons, Hessians, and Alsatians, many abolitionists, and a few pro-slavery, and every one of these varied German groups had a cultural impact on Galveston, Texas, and the United States. In 1843, a Galveston newspaper article discussed German immigrants, noting their patience, industriousness, and untiring work habits, and most scrupulous regard for punctuality in their contracts. German communities began migrating together and setting up in Texas with their German neighbors. A group of German immigrants created the Adelsverein, or the Society for the Protection of German Immigrants in Texas. Established in 1842 by a group of German nobles, they would create an economic foothold in Texas and potentially alleviate overpopulation in Germany. The Adelsverein would organize voyages and transit from Germany and into German communities in Texas. All-inclusive packages including the voyage from Europe to the railroad journey would be arranged. German immigration was so prevalent that as early as 1850, they constituted more than 5% of the total Texas population. By 1860, it is estimated that as many as 30,000 German immigrants had arrived in Texas, although German immigration halted due to the Civil War. As soon as the war ended in 1865, Germans began to pour in through Galveston once again, and were the largest ethnic group to immigrate through Galveston. Despite the majority of immigrants using Galveston as a jumping point into the rapidly expanding U.S., several thousand chose to make the booming port city of Galveston their permanent home, and made up nearly a quarter of the total Galveston population. From the late 1860s through the 1890s, over 40,000 Germans arrived in Texas, helping to revitalize the state after the Civil War. It's hard to imagine today, but it would have been as common to hear German spoken on the streets of Galveston as it was to hear English. In 1876, a group of German businessmen organized the Galveston Gartenverein, or Garden Club, as a social club for family and friends. Only Germans or German speakers could hold stock in the club, but others could petition for membership. The group purchased the 5-acre homestead of Robert Mills, a Galveston investor and businessman. They laid out the property as a park with a clubhouse, lawns, gardens and walkways, bowling alleys, tennis courts, croquet grounds, playgrounds, and a dancing pavilion. And also the home to the first electric utilities in Texas. Germans brought along their distinctive architecture, food, and customs, which can be seen when traveling through Galveston and German-settled communities today. Germans have displayed an intense passion for educating their children. After all, the word kindergarten is German. German schools were established through neighborhoods throughout Galveston. One of these kindergartens still stands today, the Matilda Waymeyer House and German-American Kindergarten School in the East End Historic District. The home was built in 1887 and operated as a German kindergarten from 1891 to 1898. The German culture and language was put on hold in the early 1900s. Throughout the United States, 2 world wars and the associated anti-German prejudice damaged the interest in German folkways and curtailed the use of the German language. As an example, German was the official language of Fredericksburg, Texas, until the beginning of World War II. Store signs, street names, and the spoken language changed from German to English overnight. Generations of Germans have been settled throughout Texas, with the German language and traditions rooted deep in their culture. The United States, Texas, and Galveston is a product of the integration of German culture. We can see the effect to this day, from language to school, wonderful preserved architecture, customs, and food.
For historic resources or more information, check out the episode description.